CHAMPS Hockey Time is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also presented by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. For all things Michigan High School hockey, go to the Hub, MIHSHockeyHub.com. National Coney Island, doggone good. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. And the Detroit Medical Center. Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers.
Welcome inside the State Champs Studios for another edition of State Champs Hockey Time. I'm Jonathon Kidd along with Sean Belize. Sean, how are you doing today?
Excellent, John. You know, like everybody else, we're hoping for the best for everybody out there. And, you know, we're going to get back to normalcy soon. But in the meantime, let's all be smart.
All right, so on this week's episode of State Champs Hockey Time, we're going to count down the top 10 hockey games that you've seen on Hockey Time. We're also going to have the top 10 plays of the season. And Sean, what else do we have at the end of the show?
Well, you know, one of the interesting things that we're going to do is we're going to come out with our all Hockey Time team. These are guys that we've been keeping an eye on all year, so we are going to recognize what we're calling the all Hockey Time team, and we're going to recognize 3 coaches as well, 1 from each division.
And we start with our top 10 games of the hockey season, and it's presented by our friends at the Alta Equipment Company.
This is a great opportunity for you guys tonight to make a statement in regards to this program. All right, what we do as a program here, from the hard work you put in the weight room all along through the fall, getting ready through the preseason, all those things that you've done. This is your moment.
We go to Dearborn for the Battle of the Mayor's Cup as Dearborn Unified takes on the Falcons of Dearborn Divine Child. Dearborn Unified coming into this contest at 11-4, and they're looking to get on the board first. The freshman Nathan Holland goes on in, but his shot is denied by Divine Child and senior netminder Adam Yost. We're scoreless after 1. Dearborn Unified with another chance early in the second, 2-on-1. Luke Tratar gets the pass, stopped by Yost. Steven Rios couldn't capitalize off the rebound, and the game remains scoreless. Divine Child still in search of their first win on the season, and they would get on the board later in the period. Sophomore Zach Schubert scores his 5th goal on the season. Falcons up 1-0 as we head into the third. We jump to the remaining moments of the game. Dearborn Unified still trailing 1-0. It would be the junior Adam Ahmed letting it rip, and it goes into the back of the net for his 6th on the campaign. With just 2 seconds left, we are heading into overtime tied up at 1. Dearborn Unified with the first chance to win it in the extra session, but Yost comes up big again. He had 36 8s on the night. Then moments later, Divine Child with its opportunity. The sophomore Cole Kalchik is off on the breakaway, but Dearborn sophomore goalie Cam Proden is there for one of his 29 stops on the game. And for the second time in the 17-year history of the Mayor's Cup, the contest ends in a 1-1 tie. We go to the west side of the state. Undefeated Matawan ready for the inaugural Mayor's Cup as they take on the host school, the Knights from Grand Rapids, Kennewa Hills. We pick things up midway through the first. Junior Max Parker risks in his first goal on the season. Wildcats take a 1-0 lead. But back comes Kennewa Hills just a few minutes later. They keep the puck in the zone. 2 shots are stopped, but Keenan Lamming is there to bang home his 8th goal on the year. We're tied at 1 after 1. Matawan responds with under 10 minutes to go in the second. Sophomore Joe Peterson snaps it from the point into the back of the net to give the Wildcats a 2-1 lead. More from Matawan. The senior Cam Agnew gets a steal. He goes on in, scores top shelf just as the horn sounds at the end of the second for his 10th goal on the season. Matawan heads into the third, leading by 2. But back comes Kennewa Hills in the final stanza. Darian Orr's pass is deflected by the goalie right to Jacob Raisinin. He scores. It's now 3-2. More from the Knights just moments later. Will Braun, the senior, buries it. We're tied up at 3. This one heads into overtime. Now, just a minute and a half into the extra session, the Knights cause the turnover, and it would be Raisinin scoring on the wraparound. Grand Rapids Kennewa Hills hands Mattawan its first loss on the season, 4-3, your final in overtime. The Southeastern KLAA Conference crossover, Ann Arbor Skyline on the road to take on the Howell Highlanders. Skyline coming in with a 7-2 record. We pick things up in the second period, game scoreless. They get the deep pass out to Jamie Newton on the breakaway. He dekes, he scores. Eagles out to a 1-0 lead. But back comes Howell just 30 seconds later. The sophomore Everett Patilla gets the puck off the rebound. He slides it in for his second goal of the season. We're tied up at 1 as we head into the third. Early in the final stanza now, Howell would strike again. Patilla feeds it over to Dominic Rossi, and the senior puts home his 11th on the season. Highlanders now up 2-1. Now, under 6 minutes to go in the game, Skyline would even it up. Here's Ryan Schmunk with the feed to Newton, his second goal on the game. It's 2-2 as we head into overtime. Early in the overtime session now, Skyline would win the faceoff in the Howell zone. Isaac Lippett gets it out to Newton, who gets it past the defenders and nets the game winner for the hat trick. Ann Arbor Skyline beats Howell 3-2 in overtime. We head to the MIHL as Grosse Pointe South goes on the road to take on defending Division I state champs, the Shamrocks from Detroit Catholic Central. Grosse Pointe South, winners of 7 of their last 8, get on the board just 2.5 minutes into the contest. Keegan Spitz slides it over to Alexander Mills, and the senior puts it home. The Blue Devils jump out to a 1-0 lead. Catholic Central, winners of 6 straight, would even the game up later in the period as junior Colin Scheuer with the redeflection in front, his 5th on the season. It's 1-1 after the opening period of play. Back comes GPS early in the second now. Dean Terrio feeds it to Spitz, and our National Coney Island Player of the Year candidate puts it in for his team-leading 17th goal on the season. Blue Devils up 2-1 as we head into the third. GPS capitalize early in the final stanza. The senior Adam Strelke is there in front for the tip-in, his 12th goal on the season. Blue Devils now leading 3-1, but Catholic Central responds. Power play 6 minutes later. The senior Jack Espin rips it in for his 9th goal of the year. Shamrocks now down by a goal. Then, 40 seconds later, CC strikes again. Caden Hemme shot from the point is stopped, but Thomas Shea is there to knock home the rebound. We are all tied up at 3. GPS would get the go-ahead goal later in the third, however, as the junior Sean Clark gets his own rebound, puts it in for his first goal on the season, and GPS hangs on to knock off Catholic Central 4-3, your final.
They were fired up in Brighton, where they're hoping their Bulldogs are ready to make another long postseason run. The Dogs hosting the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year and beat them earlier this season, Orchard Lake St. Mary's. I'm Greg Molson, and it's the Eaglets scoring first. Charles Thornton streaking down the side, lets it fly and finds the net, giving St. Mary's the lead just over 3 minutes in. Takes less than 5 minutes for the Bulldogs to tie it up, though, with a great play off the faceoff, Braden McDonald to Landon McDonald to make it 1 apiece. Still in the first, it's Brighton on the power play, but it's St. Mary's getting the goal. Chris Petrilla gets behind the defense. He goes to the backhand for the goal, putting the Eaglets up 2-1 after the first. Brighton answers again early in the second. It's Colin Ryder breaking free, showing off his speed and his moves, filling the net to make it 2-2. And that's how it stays into the third. St. Mary's with a great chance to take the lead. Connor Heikala all alone, but Chris Wozniak makes the kick save. At the other end, check out Lars Urkala with the great pass in front to Logan Mitchell. He buries it, giving Brighton its first lead of the game, and the Bulldogs would not give it away. Wozniak with another big save in the final minutes on Brendan Dell, and Brighton holds on to win it 3-2, moving on to another regional final.
we're going to reveal our coaches of the year, and we're going to start in Division I out on the west side of the state. Taylor Keyworth from Byron Center.
Yeah, what a great job by Coach K. I mean, the last couple of years, you've seen Byron Center go like this. Another impressive run for the Bulldogs. So, Coach K, congratulations to you. You are the Hockey Time Division I Coach of the Year.
All right, we go downriver for Division II, and congratulations to Chad Clements out at Trenton High School.
One of our favorites, no doubt about it. Just a classy guy, a great coach. Such a fantastic community down there. Tip of the cap to Coach Clements. You are our Division II Hockey Time Coach of the Year.
And finally, to Division III, how about Frank Novak at Detroit Country Day?
This was the difficult one, John. I think I can speak for both of us. There were certainly some deserving guys. I think you think of Calumet, you think of Forest Hill Central, but we went with Coach Novak. I mean, just a tremendous job again for Country Day. So congratulations, Coach Novak. You are the Hockey Time Division III Coach of the Year.
So, Sean, what's coming up after the break?
Yeah, when we come back, John, we are going to have our first of what we hope to be annual All Hockey Time team, and we will reveal our top 5 games of the year. Don't you go anywhere.
I admit it. I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lawrence Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
My dad and my grandfather are officials. I've grown up around officials and seeing how much they enjoy being part of the games. As a student athlete, I've always appreciated the people out there who are willing to give back to the kids. The Legacy program lets me officiate while I'm still in high school, working younger kids' games. Officiating gives me a better understanding of the game. I get to make some pretty good money for a high school kid, and I even get to spend some quality time with my dad. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
Hi, I'm Laura Ramos from DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. And today on Game Changers, we're going to talk about how breathing can improve your performance. Have you maxed out your performance working on your power, your speed, and your strength, and you're looking for something else? How about breathing? I know it's something we take for granted, but are you breathing correctly? Breathing creates the greatest amount of power throughout our core. Let's look at some common errors first. The first common error is when you take an inhale in, is to lift your rib cage forward and then back as you exhale. This breaks up all the strength between your rib cage and your pelvis, and you lose your power. The second is to lift your upper traps as you breathe. In this case, your upper traps become real tight. Think about trying to make a free throw. There's 1 second left in the game, and your upper traps are tight. Are you going to make that shot? So instead of breathing through your upper traps and your rib extension, we want you to breathe as a cylinder. So as he takes his breath in, his whole diaphragm goes up, and as he exhales, it comes down as a unit. And it also expands out in the front and back and out in the sides equally. So if you want to reach peak performance, come work on your breathing techniques at the DMC.
Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Then go where the pros go. DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. For immediate care, call 313-910-9328 or visit dmc.org/gamechangers. Here we go, the Oak Park Ice Arena between Brother Rice and Detroit Catholic Central in this showdown in the MIHL. We pick things up in the first period. Catholic Central with the early opportunity. Brett Beal slides it over to Brendan Miles, but Brother Rice senior netminder Cooper Duncan is there for the stop. It's scoreless after 1. The Warriors looking to capitalize on the power play early in the second now. Nick Marone's shot is denied by CC goaltender Louis Finnegan, and the game remains scoreless. Now, under 5 minutes to go in the period, the Warriors would get on the board. Matthew Tatar's shot is stopped, but the junior Max Brown is there to bang home the rebound. Brother Rice takes a 1-0 lead. And they would add another one just over a minute later. Ryan Marone feeds it to Dylan McNulty, and the senior buries it. Brother Rice goes into the third period up 2-0. Catholic Central looking to cut into that deficit. Early part of the final period, Miles gets another chance, but Duncan is there again with the denial. The senior had 17 saves in this one. Now, under a minute left in this one. The Shamrocks pull the goalie to get the extra skater on the ice. Dylan Dooley is stopped by Duncan, but Caden Hammy is there to knock in the rebound. CC now down 2-1. Shamrocks get one last chance in the remaining moments of the game to even it up, but they won't get a good look at the net. Brother Rice goes on to take the regular season series over their rivals from Catholic Central. 2-1 your final score. The nightcap from Friday night at the MIHL Prep Hockey Showcase, Cleveland St. Ignatius made the 3-hour trip to Michigan to take on the 14-time state champs, the Trojans of Trenton, and we pick things up 3.5 minutes into the contest. Trenton would get on the board as Brandon Clark slides it over to Hunter Allen, and the junior puts it into the back of the net to give the Trojans a 1-0 lead. Trenton would strike again with under 4 minutes to go in the opening period as Clark feeds it off again, this time to Brad Nemeth. He snaps it top corner for his 7th goal of the season. Trojans up by 2 after 1.
Energy up, enthusiasm up, think the game the right way, play as a team. All right, and let's win this next period. Let's go, boys.
We go into the later stages of the second period with the score now Trenton 2-1. It would be the senior Greg O'Bricky right there in front, bangs home the rebound, his 12th goal on the campaign, and the Trojans regain the 2-goal advantage at 3-1. But Cleveland St. Ignatius would answer back by scoring the next 2 goals. Traffic in front of the net, it would be the senior Danny Cook. He puts it away. We're tied up at 3. Here comes the Trojans. 40 seconds later, Caleb Knighting's slapper is stopped, but Allen is there to knock in his 2nd goal on the game. Trenton heads into the third, up 4-3. Now, 7 minutes to go in the final period. St. Ignatius would even the game up once again as the senior Greg Langermeyer rips it in for the one-timer. It's 4-4 after the third. At the showcase, we go to a shootout. Michael Bain would be up first in the shootout for St. Ignatius. He puts it into the back of the net to give them a 1-0 lead. Back comes Trenton, as it would be Nemeth with the nice move, and he scores. We're tied at 1. After St. Ignatius misses on its next attempt, Trenton here to take the lead, and it would be the senior, Ethan Holt, doing the honors. Trojans up 2-1. St. Ignatius needs to score here to advance in the shootout, but our Player of the Year candidate, Joey Cormier, comes up with the big save on Alex Bellardo. Trenton hangs on to beat St. Ignatius 5-4, your final at the Prep Hockey Showcase.
In Division 3, Grand Rapids Catholic Central taking on Midland Dow at Kentwood Ice Arena. After a scoreless and uneventful first period, the Cougars on the power play in the second. Jacob Onstadt throws it in front, finds sophomore Gabe Sova, who puts it home 1-0 Catholic Central. But back come the Chargers. Just minutes later, the puck log-jammed in front until it finds the stick of Ryan Pomranke, who buries that one. We're knotted at 1. But later in the second, the scoring would not stop. Sova again skates in with speed, puts one on net. It gets deflected, and the bouncing puck goes 5-hole for his second. 2-1 Cougars at that point. But in the third, still 2-1, the Chargers tie it up. Billy Van Summeren finds the back of the net. We'd be tied at 2 going into overtime. And in fact, it would take 3 OTs to decide this one. And this time, it sends the Chargers to the state semifinals. 3-2 is the final.
Final game of the regular season for both Granville and Holland West Ottawa. Granville indeed comes flying out to start this one. The freshman, Andrew Pullman, who came into this game with no goals on the season, well, he would score the first 2 goals of this one. Bulldogs lead 2-0 after the opening period of play. More from the freshman, Pullman. Just 3 minutes into the second now, he buries home the rebound. Natural Hattie. Granville now up by 3. The Bulldogs barking once again. How about just 14 seconds later, it's a sophomore Gavin Roseman puts in his 10th on the campaign. Just like that, Granville up 4-0. West Ottawa looking to win its 11th game to close out the regular season with just over a minute to go in the second. Check out the moves here by the senior Owen Hauskamp. He buries his 9th on the season. Panthers down 4-1 as we head into the third. Granville would regain the 4-goal lead as Jonathon Dubbing gets the pass in front, puts it into the back of the net. Bulldogs up 5-1. But that's when Holland West Ottawa would start to mount a comeback. Following the Granville turnover, the senior Luke Liner chases down the puck, puts in his team-leading 23rd goal on the season. Panthers down 5-3. More from West Ottawa just a minute and a half later. It would be the junior Jake Neitzel putting in his second on the contest, and now they just trail by a goal at 5-4. Now, 30 seconds to go in this one. Panthers on the power play. They pull the goaltender, 6-on-4. Liner shot from the point goes off the boards, right to Brennan Clark, who puts it away. The game is now tied at 5, and we're heading into overtime. Just a mere 36 seconds to go in the extra session. West Ottawa gets the game winner right here. Hauskamp to Caleb Lowell, and the senior puts her home. Holland West Ottawa wins a thriller to cap off the regular season. 6-5 your final.
This is Greg Molson in Brighton for a Division I regional semifinal. The Clarkston Wolves taking on the Howell Highlanders. Both teams coming in at 15-10, and just like their records, this game was about as even as could be. Howell scores first with the Cam connection. Cam Sturos behind the net, setting up Cam Nitchman for the quick one-timer, giving the Highlanders the lead just over 5 minutes in. Clarkston ties it up in the final minute of the first period. The Wolves with a 3-on-1, and it's Cameron Thomas shooting it himself right into the back of the net to make it 1-1 after the first 17 minutes of play. It remained deadlocked through the second, with the Highlanders killing off a 5-on-3 advantage for the Wolves for over a minute. Ian Badgett with a big save on Ryan Galligan. On to the third. Clarkston on the power play off the face-off. It's Logan McGivern winning the race to the puck. He shoots, and it just trickles in, giving the Wolves the lead. The Highlanders in need of the equalizer, and they find it with less than 4 minutes to play. Everett Patillo with the shot. Cam Sturos with the rebound, tying it at 2-2 and sending the game into overtime. Howell then gets a big break just minutes in as Brandon Eall draws a penalty on the big hit along the boards, giving the Highlanders a power play, and they take advantage. Stephen Miller showing great patience, holding onto the puck until he gets the perfect angle. Howell wins a thriller 3-2 over Clarkston. Stephen Miller with the game winner, and he received a hero's welcome in the locker room.
All right, Sean, so our number one game of the hockey season was that game between Howell and Clarkston in the regional semifinal. Sean, your thoughts on that game?
Well, you know what? I mean, first of all, you give a tip of the cap to the Wolves. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I'm not sure a lot of people thought that they would give Howell the run that they gave them, except for perhaps the guys in that room. But an outstanding game. You know, John, here's the beauty. There were so many great games this year. There really were. And I thought one of the cool things about the playoff, and hopefully we're not talking about the playoff past tense, there's more games to be played, but one of the cool things about the playoff up to this point in time, the amount of overtime games. I mean, some pretty cool stuff out there all across the great state of Michigan.
All right, Sean, we had the MHSA Hockey Clip of the Week, and it's time now to reveal our top 10 clips of the year.
The opening game of the MIHL KLAA Showcase. Check out Canton goaltender Jackson Taylor with the glove save beauty on the Port Huron Northern breakaway attempt. And it goes to Aaron Violetel from Grosse Pointe South High School. Here, getting around the defender and backhands it home. He would go on to get a hat trick in the win over Midland Dow. The Public High School Showcase in Chelsea. Check out the Novi netminder Austin Muirhead with the huge glove save on the breakaway attempt from Byron Center. And it goes to Caleb Lowell from Holland West Ottawa. Here, scoring the game-winning goal with 30 seconds left in overtime to beat Granville. And it goes to Drew Adams from Riverview Gabriel Richard High School. With 30 seconds to go in the game against Houghton, the senior netminder would swat the puck out of midair to preserve the 2-1 win at the MIHL Showcase. Check out the moves here by Riverview junior Gavin Holmes as he finishes upstairs for the goal as Riverview went on to beat Ann Arbor Pioneer.
And check out the senior Jacob Cornelia from Woodhaven High School here with the intercept, and then finishes with the backhand beauty for his 18th goal on the season in the win over Jenison.
We go back to the Ann Arbor Skyline Howell hockey game. Jamie Newton for Skyline had a hat trick in this one, including the game winner in overtime to beat Howell. And this is courtesy of the Livonia Stevenson hockey team. In the regional semifinal, Carson Clevin for the Spartans with a Michigan move, picking the puck up behind the net and wraps it in for the goal.
And congratulations to Farmington United goaltender Brent Sommerfeld against Milford. He does his best Pekka Rennie impression by getting the puck and scores at the empty net. We love seeing the goalie score.
And congratulations to Bryn Sommerfeld, our #1 MHSAA Hockey Clip of the Year.
Yeah, pretty hard to deny that. A momentous occasion and one we'll be talking about for a few years to come.
All right, Sean, so this is brand new to State Champs Hockey Time. It's going to be our all Hockey Time team.
Yeah, this is something that we talked about in the past, but we decided to do it this year. Recognize some guys that perhaps deserve the recognition. I mean, after all, that's why they would be on our all Hockey Time team. So it isn't an easy process. There are so many good players across the state, but John, after much deliberation, we came up with our own team.
And we start with the goalie, and it's Cooper Duncan from Brother Rice.
It's amazing. Everybody talks about that top line at Brother Rice, and rightfully so. I think that might be the most lethal line in the state, but I think the one forgotten commodity about Brother Rice is their goaltender, Cooper Duncan. I think he's the most underrated goaltender in the state. Certainly could make a claim for being the best in the state. So you are our goaltender on our all Hockey Time team. Congratulations.
All right, let's go to the defensemen, and we start first with Brendan Miles out of Detroit Catholic Central.
Well, I've said it all year. I'm going to continue to say it. I think he's the best player in the state. I think this is a young man with a bright future. No doubt about it. You have to put him on our team. All Hockey Time team defense. Mr. Miles, if I had to pick a player of the year, I'd pick him. I don't have a vote, but here we have a vote, and he definitely deserves a place on our team.
And the other defenseman is Jacob Thomas out of Detroit Country Day.
Phenomenal, and this is a guy that has upped his game consistently, and he's upped his game at the right time. Had a strong playoff, was a big part of why Country Day was back to the Final Four. So Mr. Thomas, who was a mainstay on our list all year long, our top 10 list, congratulations to you, Jacob Thomas.
All right, let's go to the forwards, and we go up north to Tanner Rowe out of Calumet.
Another guy that was on our list all year long. I think this is a young man that has a bright future ahead of him as well. I think Locust Rowe, obviously a big part of why Calumet was back in the Final Four. But I'll tell you this, we decided to go with Mr. Rowe. We have no problem doing that. Congratulations, Tanner.
Another player from Detroit Catholic Central made our all Hockey Time team, and that is Kyle Gaffney.
Phenomenal. As I said, you could pick a number of players from, we mentioned Brother Rice, you could pick a number of players from Catholic Central as well. This is a guy that quietly has gotten it done for a couple of years. I always point out one of the things you have to look at with these guys from Catholic Central is they could load up on points. It's all about the team game at Catholic Central. It starts with Coach Cal, and Gaffney has been a tremendous, one of the best forwards in the state for 2 years running.
And our final forward that made our Hockey Time team is Jacob Onset out of Grand Rapids Catholic Central.
What a phenomenal career he has had. This is a guy that made our list last year as a defenseman. Coach Slobodnik moved him up front to play forward for the Cougars. It obviously worked out very well. He's had a tremendous career, one of the best players on the west side, one of the best players in the state. We feel really good about this all Hockey Time team, and congratulations to each and every one of you. You had a heck of a season and made high school hockey a better place in this state.
All right, it's time now to do a quick update in our National Coney Island High School Hockey Player of the Year. So, Sean, what's the latest on when we're going to announce our winner?
Well, we're waiting like everybody else until the season either resumes or the season is canceled. Like everybody else, I think every hockey fan out there is in the same position that we're in right now, John. We hope these games are played. I mean, for the sake of the sport, for the sake of the kids that work so hard to get there. But as we talked about last week, right now using our criteria, and this is why we point out our criteria each and every show. Using our criteria, we have a choice right now. If the games are played, maybe the choice changes. But right now we have a choice. Let's just wait a little while to see where this goes.
And we just want to remind you that in our Final Four, we had Joey Cormier from Trenton, DJ Dixon from Brother Rice, Brendan Miles from Detroit Catholic Central, and Tanner Rowe from Calumet. A great four.
Yeah, it really was. It was tough to get it down to four. It's even tougher to get it down to one. But again, this is why we bring up our criteria each and every week, so we're being as transparent as we can when we do our best to find out who our choice is going to be at the end of the year.
All right, so stay tuned here on State Champs Hockey Time in the next couple weeks when we reveal our winner. And that was our update in the National Coney Island High School Hockey Player of the Year. All right, Sean, that's it for another edition of State Champs Hockey Time. We're not going away anytime soon.
No, we're going to be here, and hopefully there's more hockey to be played as well. But as always, John, just a blast talking about all the great things that have happened in this season.
All right, remember, you can follow State Champs on all of our social media channels. And remember to download the new State Champs app that is available on iPhone and Android. And also, Sean, it's also available on Fire Stick and Roku TV.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's one thing that has happened with this. Thanks to you guys, this show continues to grow. The views continue to grow, and we thank you very much for that. And, John, we're going to keep doing this.
All right, so that's it for another edition of State Champs Hockey Time. So, Sean, what do we say at the end of the show?
We'll see you at the rink eventually.
State Champs Hockey Time is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also presented by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. For all things Michigan High School hockey, go to the Hub, MIHSHockeyHub.com. National Coney Island, doggone good. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. And the Detroit Medical Center. Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechanger.